behalf of our board, I'm pleased to give an update on Nash County this morning. First thing I want to cover is really what went on in the internal part of Nash County. And I appreciate the commissioners that gave me some comments they'd like to have gone over. I appreciate the staff that gave me some comments. And really this first item I'm gonna go over, which is internal, is items that came from the staff that they brought to my attention. Of course, I was aware of many of them, but as you know, as you move up in age, you tend to forget things a little bit quicker. You remember the things that you did 30 years ago when we coached softball Miss High, but you don't remember what happened last week sometimes, and certainly not for a full year at the time. But this is a great list, and the things that the staff is proud of and certainly should be proud of, and things that our board is proud of as well. During 2018, even though we hired the person right at the end of 17, we hired and brought on board our new retail economic developer. Also in 18, because we hired that person, we implemented a Nash County retail and small business incentive grant. This particular move that the Board of Commissioners chose to do has proved itself very well. We have been able to award one of those grants already, several more we are looking at, and I hope we have improved our relationships with the smaller towns in Nash County throughout by having that person that is always looking to bring business and commercial to the county throughout. I know Susan has stayed very, very busy, and she reports to us each month, and I'm tickled to death so far, and I think all the board members are for what that position has brought to us. We also promoted Amy Hamlet Pridgeon to the Department of Social Service Director. Amy, congratulations on that. We had a retirement, and Amy stepped right in. She had been with us a long time, and I think thus far has done a fantastic job. We also promoted Shay Neal to the new Department of Social Services Deputy Director. So we have two new people in those positions, but quite frankly, at my level, and I don't think at the citizens level, anyone probably has realized that we've had a major change in the leadership in that particular department. We also promoted Anson Kirkland to our new Human Services Resource Director. Anson had been with us a long time as well, and it's a trend that the Board of Commissioners like to see for us to be able to promote within. Our employees are very well trained. We have a great set of employees, but to be able to move someone up from within is always the first goal of our HR department, as well as our administration and certainly the Board of Commissioners. We also hired Mike Phillips into the Public Utilities and Facilities Director, and because of a person that moved on to a different job in that department, he has also been moved into the interim Public Utilities and Facilities Director, and Mike has done a wonderful job. Mike, I know you came to work with us, thought you may have a heavy load, but nothing like you have had put on you, but I think you've done an excellent job, and we have certainly enjoyed working with you in doing that. We held a tree dedication ceremony at Nash County Arboretum for the 2-year anniversary of the HOPE program, the CARE Coalition, and those who have lost lives to substance abuse. I think you would all agree, if there are not many people in Nash County, that this particular problem that we have throughout the nation and certainly throughout North Carolina has touched the lives somehow. We are doing many things to try to improve this situation, and it seems like the numbers have stabled a little bit, but certainly we've got a long way to go. We had also started a program to begin to offer in-house training for department head supervisors and all other staff members. That particular program is what allows us, I think, to be able to do our promotions from within. And I can't tell you I know a whole lot about it, but the staff seems very pleased over it. We also completed an 18-month policy revision and addition and made those effective September the 15th, 2018. That was a lot more task for us to do, particularly the staff or the committee that worked on it, and what I think they may have realized up front. It took 18 months to do it. We looked at every word in our personnel policy and made sure that we were up to date with it. We had several meetings with the commissioners. The commissioners were able to do a lot of what they asked us to do. Of course, some things we were not able to do because everything you do costs money in future generations, and our board is always very guarded on the obligations that we make long term. But we did do some great things. I won't try to quote those this morning because it would take another hour or two. But anyway, I think it was a great job by the committee that worked on that, and I want to thank those that are here this morning for their time spent on that. I see many of you out there. We also developed for our employees a new performance appraisal system for everyone that's on our county staff. Appraisals for employees are something any supervisor kind of dreads, I think. I know I did with 10 years I worked at the City of Rocky Mountain, but it is a very needed item. And we have got a format now, and I looked at it over the weekend, how it works. But I think it's fair, and it should prompt those to be done in a timely fashion. And that's important to an employee because how he is viewed by the people he works for is very important to anyone. And of course, it also documents what type of job they are doing and makes them eligible for any incentive type raises that the county may have available from time to time. We conducted a very successful United Way campaign this year and had several employee events to promote that. I think we had our best year ever. Mr. Lamb served on that board for the county, and of course, I'm sure he put an emphasis on it. The commissioners do not go to those meetings, but I want to thank every employee that's here. I'm a firm believer in United Way. Have served a couple of stints on the board myself, but they are one organization of many in Nash and Edgecombe County that do a great job for our citizens, and particularly those that have needs. We also honored Donna Boone for her 35-year career with the Nash County Department of Social Services. Amy, how many more years can you work to get 35 years? I may not even want you to answer that. But as we know, Donna also was promoted from within. The time she served as the department head in that department, did a fantastic job, but we certainly appreciate having those long-term employees. We also had the distinct honor last year of honoring our Clerk of Superior Court, Rachel Joyner, for her 66 years with Nash County. That is probably one of the longest serving terms for any employee in a county or for the state. And we all miss Rachel, but after 66 years, I can certainly understand why she chose to not run for re-election and to retire and take a little bit lighter load moving forward. We were very honored to recognize a sergeant in our sheriff's department, Scott Bass, who appeared on national news for a good deed that he did for a lady. I'm sure you've read the story, but it was an honor in our board meeting a couple of months ago to be able to play that clip that was on national TV for Scott. And that's the kind of people that we have in our sheriff's department that we have throughout the county. Those that are here to help the citizens of Nash County, particularly those that have a great need. We completed our 11th year for the Citizens Academy. The Citizens Academy, I'm sure you've heard of now. It's underway again, and I'm sure it will continue, I hope. Patsy McGee does a great job running that. The Board of Commissioners receive many comments each year as that goes on about how much the citizens were able to learn about Nash County. You learn about every department that we have, and if there's any of you here that haven't been and have an opportunity, it's one night a week for about a 12-week period, but you may want to look into that and certainly share it with the citizens of Nash County. We were able to, after a long, hard thought process and analyzing, we were very successful in selling our home health business in 2018. It was a difficult decision, but it was a decision from a financial standpoint that the county felt like we needed to make. We were able to sell it to a local company, and I've really not heard any negatives about that, how it's been performed for our citizens after it moved on to a privately owned individual or a firm. So we were tickled to be able to sell it at a time when it was still had some worth to it. Moving on, I'm going to discuss second our capital improvements. And to me, of course, I'm in the construction business. I understand I'm going to be real interested in capital improvements, but the last year in Nash County has just been phenomenal, quite frankly. The projects that we completed in 2018 were, number one, a courthouse and sheriff department expansion. I'm not going to talk about each one of these because they are many in number, but we were able to complete that expansion after an 18-month construction time. We had it on our capital improvement plan for about 8 years, and that's not unusual. It was one of the largest improvements or capital expenditure we had done in the life of Nash County, and so it takes some time to work its way up to the top. We also able to build another shell building that we hadn't done in a number of years because of the downturn, but we just completed that in November at the Middlesex Industrial Park. It's a 60,000 square foot shell building that is now available for an industry to move into Nash County, and we actually have several people looking at that building as we speak. We were able to complete a landfill expansion of our C&D landfill. We were down to having just a little over a year capacity left. We were able to complete that in 2018 and are tickled to be able to keep that landfill open for C&D type trash. We were able to do a major update of our radio system in the public safety department. It's an item that we have worked on for a number of years and a sorely needed item in Nash County, particularly in the northern part of the county and the southern part of the county. We are getting positive reviews now that we've got it in service. We do have some things we've got to work out in some places, like you always do with a new radio system, but we are pleased that we had a tremendous amount of participation in making a decision. There are so many ways, as you can imagine now, to provide communications. It was a task to work through it with our volunteer fire department, with our sheriff department, and anyone, our EMS that uses those radios. But in the end, I think we all came to a decision that everybody bought into, and I think it will serve the county well for many years in the future. Construction-wise, early college out at our community college has always been in modular units. With the two new additions at the college that were completed last year, we were able to move those into a building C that was freed up. That work was completed back in December. Students moved over the holiday and are now using that building, and it's a great thing to get a permanent building for our early college, because that is indeed a bright star for our educational system in Nash County. We have just completed a Southern Nash Senior Center down in the southern part of the county. It is located at the Bailey Middlesex Park. We are just before opening that facility up for another segment of our community, our seniors. We had real growing pains next door at the one we had here. We had a long travel distance from the southern part of the county, and it's another item that our board has put emphasis on over the last few years, is to try to be more inclusive in the far-reaching areas of our county, particularly down in the southern part. There's one saying that I've always heard since I've been a commissioner is that when you get to the river in Nash County, you seem to be in Wilson County instead of in Nash County. We hope the citizens down there are beginning to realize that that's not true. We've done many things down there, including the Industrial Park Senior Center, and we are just glad to be able to hopefully bring all of Nash County together and also put a medical clinic down there, right there at the Industrial Park as well. We are currently working on a grant that we received to remove trash out of the Tar River and Stony Creek tributaries in Nash County. We have a lot of debris in some of our waterways that come from hurricanes, comes from natural effects as well. But particularly after a hurricane where we have a lot of water moving, it seems to be stopped up, causing a lot of problems. Commissioner Outlaw was very involved in getting and seeking out a way to tackle this problem in part of his district over there. But we were able to get some funds and very glad to get a large portion of that done, even though we're still working on it. The commissioners moved forward with a request to install Purple Heart signs, parking signs, reserved parking signs on some of our county facilities, as well as veterans parking signs. I noticed when I come up to the building here, not all of them do I go to frequently, but I always notice to see if those parks are being utilized. And majority of the time when you come to the building, you'll see several of them being utilized. And it's a great honor for us to be able to recognize our veterans, and I appreciate that request being brought to us on behalf of those organizations. We completed a item that we did, the monumental item we did out in front of this building on behalf of citizens that have served Nash County well. The idea was brought to us by an individual on behalf of Mr. Commissioner Billy Morgan. And as we know, Billy served the county a long time, 28 to 29 years, and he was the first plaque that was put down, and we did that just a few weeks ago. So it's a real honor to have that out in front, and if you hadn't noticed, I wish you would. We had a committee that worked on that, and I think it's just a wonderful thing. The teardrop type monument that we put up is very attractive. So if you hadn't noticed that, please take a look at it. We also completed a new sound system at the farmers market. And I know all of you go there, and I hear that new sound system, and boy, has it really made a difference with events down there, other than the Saturday openings and Wednesday openings that we have at the farmers market. Those are the items that we completed in 2018, which is a very long list. I also have a list here that are projects that are funded and are underway or getting ready to be underway. The Nash County Miracle Park at Cookers, a absolutely wonderful idea that has come to us to build a miracle park that will be all-inclusive for all citizens of Nash County, particularly our children that have special needs. I'm just delighted that after the very hard work for many years of citizens in that area, particularly Harold Winston, that we were able to get funding for it and to move forward with that park. The grading process is underway as we speak. Winter has not been cooperative with that, but we are not too far off in schedule and hope to have it open sometime in the latter part of the summer this year. Countywide broadband is probably the largest need that we have in Nash County. We've worked on it and we've worked on it, and it is a very difficult task to conquer. We are still not there. We have begun work. We've decided on a method to try. We are doing test areas in the county to see if this wireless type system that we would engage would serve us well, and we took the two most extreme areas, so please stand by on that. Our kids in the educational system need it, and something that I've learned that I didn't know is as large as it is, and I'm sure the rest of our board members have learned also, is the need for our people that work from home. We have more and more people that work from home now. Fortunately, we have people in Triangle that like to live in Nash County. It's a lot of a less expensive home that you could put in Nash County, and yet one of the things that are really holding that from becoming a more and more of a trend is the fact that the internet is not very much reliable down in the southern part of the county as well as other parts of the county, but we hope to resolve that very soon. Another item that is underway, bids have been let, and you'll see pipe laying along our highways in the northern Nash area, Dorchester, Red Oak communities. Very soon is the northern Nash water system. Another item we have worked on for many years, we could not make the numbers work to move forward with it, but we are pleased this morning to be able to say it has been funded and the contracts have been let, and just be delighted to be able to provide public water to many more citizens in Nash County. The Rocky Mount Wilson Regional Airport, another big item that will be, you'll see starting this year, is funded, is to repave the runways out there, to replace the fuel cell, as well as build 20 T-hangars at the airport, something that we've needed for many, many years, and a request that we've had many times, is to provide T-hangars for our citizens that own small planes and would like to keep them at our airport, but now have to keep them at another location simply because we didn't have a facility to keep them inside. That was a cooperative effort by the two cities of Rocky Mount and Wilson, and the three counties of Wilson, Edgecombe, and Nash, because those are the partners in that airport. And just within the last month, all three of those entities have approved the match funding for that great addition out at our airport. Number 5, the Middlesex Corporate Center water, sewer, water tank, and road project. Where we built this shell building that is now complete and ready to be occupied, we don't have the infrastructure completed there yet. We have the road roughed in. We do not have water to this site, sewer, or the road is not paved. We have recently been able to obtain money to do that. That engineering contract has been let, and we hope to have that under construction in early summer to get those items put in as well. Renovation at the Nash Ag Center. We have some opportunities down at the Ag Center to improve that facility. We actually vacated quite a bit of it over the winter, or really last summer, but we are getting ready to replace the air conditioners down there, new lighting, and many other things, and so we can get that facility open back up, hopefully much sooner than later. Elm Street storm drainage, we have not started yet, but that's a project that we need to do in conjunction with the town of Nashville. We were able to see funding for that, and it is a old storm line that is deteriorating, that we will be replacing, and actually part of it goes across our parking lot back here in the rear of this building, and from time to time we'll come in and find a hole in the parking lot, so we'll get a permanent solution to that. And one of the biggest items that we'll be moving forward with is the Northern Nash Area Elementary School in conjunction with our school board. We do not quite know yet where that school will be built. We don't know exactly what size it will be, but within the next couple of months we will have that decided by our school board. We do have funding in place to move forward with that, and that will be replacing 3 of our oldest elementary schools and putting them in a new, much safer facility with the wiring and all that is needed for school systems or school buildings, even the elementary school buildings at this particular time, with the internet and everything that we do and how we teach things now. I guess you're saying, or I said to myself after I looked at that list, well, how in the world were we able to do all of that? We have not changed our tax rate in 10 years now, but the story how we were able to do it is really fascinating to me, and it was by the number of grants that Nash County was able to receive. I'm just going to run down very quickly and speed up a little bit the grants that we received in 2018. For the part that we spoke of, we received a total of $1,435,000 in grants. That's how we were able to build that part. For the water line, we were able to receive in the Northern Nash a $3 million grant, and understand the grants, money you don't have to pay back. I know we all know that. We received a $3 million grant, we received a $3 million loan with no interest, and we received a $3.5 million loan at 1.9% fixed rate interest. So that's how that water system finally came to being. The school that we just spoke of, just very recently, at the end of last year, we received a $10 million grant for that school that comes from the lottery proceeds that we know should all be going to education, but we're glad to get a large share of that in Nash County to build that school with. The Middlesex Park infrastructure, we were able to get $2,764,000 worth of grants from the Golden Leaf Foundation and from the North Carolina Rural Readiness Site organization. That's how we were able to move forward with that. Elm Street storm drain we spoke of, we got $742,000 of grants. $500,000 of that again came from the Golden Leaf Foundation, and the other funding came from the CBGD grants that we apply for real often. The debris removal was a grant through Soil and Water for $417,000. But the fascinating number, when you total all that up in 2018, and I do wish Patsy McGee could have been here this morning. I checked with her Friday to see if she was going to be here, and I think she has a sick child this morning or not. But it's through her hard work, as well as all the other staff members here, that we got a grand total of $18,358,000 worth of grants in 2018. That's $18,358,000. I probably said it wrong, but that's a record for Nash County, and quite frankly, it's how we were able to do the two lists that I just went through. So we're very proud of that, very proud of Nash County, and the way you're able to get those grants, quite frankly, is everything works. You kind of got to be in good flavor with certain people. I think Nash County serves itself well by staying in touch with our state legislators, our U.S. senators and House of Representative members, and they know we in Nash County do good things. They know when we get a grant, we look after it properly. They know it's documented very well. We've never had any questions in Nash County about any grants that we received and whether the money was spent properly. So that's how you get those grants. And of course, grants come with a tremendous amount of paperwork, as we all know. And to be able to do the paperwork properly and file it in a timely manner is how you get your next grant from that same organization. So that's why we're so pleased to have Ms. McGee with us and the other people throughout the staff, particularly in finance, that helps us with those grants working for Nash County. Other things in general that happened in 2018, I had some items about Trillium Health and the fact that we moved into that organization for our mental health type needs, but I see Dave Peterson is with us this morning. Is going to be giving an update on that as soon as I finish. So Dave, I'm going to skip that one, let you take care of that and get you up here just a little bit sooner. But I appreciate, as well as all the board appreciates being able to join Trillium. It has been a great relationship so far. As like anything, we had a few little things to work out in the beginning, but I don't know when I got a call last about from any of our citizens about how that particular organization is serving our people. And moving back to the park one more time, one of the major grants we got from that park was a $750,000 grant from the Trillium. And that's how we designated it as an all-inclusive park, because that was their emphasis to where they put their funding in, and we're just so thankful, Dave, that we were able to apply for that and obtain that, and really that's what allowed us to move forward with that. So on behalf of the board, I sure want to thank you while you're here this morning. As you know, we got a gas line being built through Nash County. Of course, it started and it stopped, and then it started back again, and now it stopped again. But our board chose not to take a stance on that particular item simply because there was a lot of varied thoughts through our citizens. But in the end, I think we will all have to acknowledge that it will be good for our region. And it is underway, and it has been approved, and I think will be built certainly, but it is on temporary hold for something going on in another state. Evidently, you make a lot of money with that gas line, because I don't know how they start and stop and move all that stuff in and take it back out. It's a very costly item, but that's what we see going on. Our board is most proud of the physical management of Nash County. This booklet right here, which is what we receive in a condensed form that we as commissioners can understand about our audit every year, is what we work every day for and the way we approve capital improvement projects and everything else we do, raises for employees, is to try to keep Nash County in the physical shape that it has been in for many years prior to any of us been on the board. But it has always done very well. But I consider this kind of to be the song book. I won't use it to be the Bible, because it's certainly not the Bible, but it's the song book for the commissioners to do what we do during budget season every year, is to try to keep this particular book looking as good as it has for many, many years. Our tax rate, as everyone knows, is 67 cents, has been the same for 10 years. Fund balance at this particular time, total fund balance is a little over $42 million. Our unassigned fund balance is $28 million. And our collection rate, Mr. Lamb, is 98.73 last year. And he made a prediction the other day that I will let him tell you if he wants to tell you, but he's going to crawl to the next round number, I think, anyway, which is coming up next is 99%, but we'll see how we look at the end of this year. But that is a tremendous improvement from where we have been in the past, and each percentage is a very hard to obtain to move that number upward. And it's through the hard work of our tax office to do that. It's through the hard work of our citizens to be able to produce the income to pay their tax bills. And I think it makes a lot of difference if you will keep that tax rate stable in the mindset of the citizens and taxpayers in Nash County, that I hope they realize we do all we can do on this end, and they're more apt to pay their taxes in a timely manner. I'm convinced, and I may just be fooling myself, but I really believe that. And Mr. Wren, we greatly appreciate everything you and your staff do on that collection rate. I studied the budget quite a bit last week and looked in surrounding counties as well. And one thing that stood out at me was the balance of expenditures that Nash County has. Every county has three major expenditures. They have their schools, being community colleges, and their public education system. They have the social services area, and then they have public safety. I'm pleased to say, in looking and studying ours, how balanced it is. And this is the goal of our commissioner, is to keep it balanced. Our school system receives 27% of funding out of our total budget. Our Human Services Department receives 26% of our total budget. And our public safety receives 25% of our total budget. You won't find another county that has that balance in those three major expenditures. I looked in surrounding counties around here, and they are significantly different from time to time, but in studying two of them, I was really amazed at the fact that we keep public safety as high as we do, even with our school needs and as well as our human services needs. So we do a much better job of equally funding those three than the surrounding counties do. And I'll just give you an indication, and I'm not going to call the county because I'm not up here talking about anybody but Nash County. In an adjoining county that we have, there is a disparity between 33% and 22% for public safety, and we're generally running about 5 percentage points ahead of counties in North Carolina as far as it relates to our spending for public safety. We have a very low debt service at 7%, and again, that carries us back to the success rate we have in grant applications. We're also very pleased as a board in 2018 budget in July that we were able to give all of our employees a 5% raise and make a commitment that we won't even really be discussing at the 19 budget for another 5% raise. I received, as well as the other board members, a lot of thanks from our employees for being able to do that. It was the right thing to do. We had been very conservative with raises up to that point to try to get us through the downturn and try to get us through the revaluation. But every employee, and not just a select few, received those 5 and 5% raises, or have received one and will be receiving the other one come July of this year. I thought it was interesting that Donna asked me the other day, finance director, who was not with us this morning, if I think I had made a complaint a little bit in previous years about them putting a proposed raise in the budget prior to it coming to the commissioners, and all of our employees seeing what the proposal was, and then we had to be the bad guys and maybe lower it if we had to. But she asked me the other day if I felt like she should go ahead and put the 5% in the budget a projection for next year, and I said certainly so. The board has already approved it. There's no need of not putting it in there, which is contradictory to what I asked her not to do before. But in this case, we had indeed already approved that. Moving through just a few more things, and I am about through, is I'll just say on behalf of our board, and I hope they all agree with me, that we are truly blessed as a Board of Commissioners in Nash County. We're blessed because of the county manager that we have, the assistant county manager that we have, and all the department heads that we have. It makes our job pretty doggone easy, quite frankly. We have a group that, for the most part, work very well together, and it's a real pleasure for me, and I'm sure the rest of our board members will agree to this, to serve as an elected official in Nash County because of the staff that we have. Many counties, and I am involved and do work in many counties, have things a lot different from time to time than what we have here in Nash County. There's a lot of not getting along too good between the staff and the Board of Commissioners not getting along, but here in Nash County, I think we're truly blessed because of the type people and all the department heads and leaders that we have in Nash County. To show you and all of us here know this, but I think it's fascinating. Again, last month we were able to give out service awards, and we had 18 employees that got 20 years service awards. We had 11 that got 25 years. We had 4 that got 30-year service awards, and we had 1, Mr. Bill Hill, that got a 40-year service award. If you take Rachel Joyner, who indeed is a state employee, and put her in that mix at 66 years, that makes a total for 35 employees have 861 years of service in Nash County. That's just an astounding number to me. And yes, I'm a number guy, and I sit around crunch numbers all the time, but 861 years is a lot of service to give to one organization. And last but not least, we're blessed because of the citizens we have in Nash County. Our citizens work with us very well. This is not good, but then again, it may be good. We had gone 12 months in a row without having a public comment brought to us. Now that record, I'm pleased to say, was broke this morning by Ms. Hyatt and Mr. Williams, but we need public comment. I'm glad you could hear this morning. But it does give some thought that maybe we don't have as many problems as some organizations do because we don't have a tremendously long line of speakers at our meetings, and many organizations, whether it be cities, whether it be counties throughout the state, indeed do. But I don't say that to say we don't want you here. We certainly want you here because we find out new things when you come and bring them to us. And really and truly, I, as the chair, am quite disappointed at a meeting when our clerk hands me that list that has no names on it. I like to see people come to us, and I think the rest of us would feel that way. But thank y'all too for being here this morning, and please encourage everyone else to come back. That's the good side of what we've got going on in Nash County, or some of it. I've missed a lot of it. I've been here too long already standing up, but there are many more good things to tell. Do we have challenges? Yes, we have challenges, and I'm going to list 3 of those challenges, and 2 of them are the same carryovers from last year, quite frankly. One of them is our educational system. We do indeed have challenges in our educational system in Nash County. I am glad to say that we, through diligent effort of our board, have improved the relationship with our school board, I think, from a series of meetings in a small group. We didn't get as much done as I'd like to say we would have liked to have got done. We've got some done, and we've got to recommit that effort moving forward, to work with our school board and understanding their needs and them understanding what our desires are. But it's the right thing to do, and I will certainly make that commitment. We've got some new board members, we've got a new elected chair, and we have not got together yet, but we will be getting together, and we'll be working as hard as we can on behalf of the commissioners to get the things done that the school system needs done. I look forward to building this new school. Yes, it's in my area. That might be a little selfish, but being the fact that the three oldest schools that we have left are either in my area or Miss Richardson's area shows that we do have patience, don't we, Miss Richardson? But we are back to our area and look very much forward to building that new school somewhere in that district, wherever the school board may choose to do it. We also have a need to continue to provide employment for our citizens of Nash County. Industrial recruitment for Nash County was not near as good as I would have liked for it to have been in 2018. I'm sure the board feels that way. We did not have any major announcements. We need a major announcement every year, twice a year, if we can get it. We're gonna make a commitment in 18 to our citizens that we're gonna work very hard to prepare ourselves to make Nash County look more attractive to site-selected companies when they come into Nash County. We're gonna be prepared by having sites ready for them. We are prepared by having a shell building that is currently ready. Our staff and our board really must reevaluate how we are currently doing this and to see if there's a better way that we can provide industrial recruitment for Nash County. So bear with us on that, and it will be an emphasis on this board moving forward. And then the last thing is the continuation of the challenge of countywide internet. I spoke about it earlier. We've got a long way to go. We have started at least, and I don't know of anything that this board is more committed to than to something Ms. Barnes has been a very advocate person for. She actually made us, I think, aware of it as we are in her term on the board, but it's just a situation that we've got to solve if we're going to continue to prosper. And then that's one of our issues with industrial recruitment. That's one of the first questions. And when you get a site selection company come to your county, they are not looking for the good things. They are looking for a reason they can take you off the list. That's how they operate. That's how they tell us they operate. They come in with 10 things. And if they can find 3 of those things on that 10 that you don't have, they're moved on, because there are many places in this country that are trying to find jobs. So we kind of know what that list is. The quick and reliable internet is certainly at the top of that list, as well as schools. So those are our challenges to improve all 3 things. I appreciate your patience in listening to us this morning. I think it's a great story. I would like to see if any board member wishes to say anything or add anything to that. Certainly do that at this time. Or have I talked too much already? Seeing none, thank y'all, and thank you employees for making our job easy. Appreciate it.